Go ahead.
So, tell me who you are and what we're
I'm
doing
Linda
today.
Webb, and I'm one of the founders of Racial Intelligence. And Racial Intelligence is about treating yourself fairly first, and then treating others fairly in a bias-free environment. So what we address is we address the fact that what are your hot buttons? What are things that make you mad? You know, what are your implicit biases? Are they hidden? Maybe you have a bias and you're not aware of it. And what we do is bring out in the forefront what those biases may be, because once you're aware of it, and once you become aware of it, then hopefully you'll go forward, address it, know that you have it, and then start treating everybody fairly.
On a day-to-day basis, what is it that you'd like, for example, like the campus police at Framingham State to do, differently in the way they approach their jobs?
What I want police officers to do across this nation is if every police officer, in between calls, could acknowledge where they're at emotionally and get their emotions in check before they engage with the public. Because a lot of times, if a police officer is angry for whatever reason, it's a recipe for disaster if he's engaging with the public. So what we do in education with law enforcement is to tell them where are they at emotionally, get those emotions back in check, get back up to love, gratitude, joy before you engage with the public.
And you feel like there's a real strong connection between someone's emotional state and the different types of kind of bias incidents that we see with policing.
Absolutely, and I think it's important for our police officers that they have emotional intelligence training and that they acknowledge the fact that they do have some implicit bias. Let's bring it to the forefront. Let's identify what pisses you off. What are your hot buttons? What are your flashpoints? Because it's typically those flashpoints is what causes the escalation versus de-escalation.
And you were in policing yourself?
Yes, I was in law enforcement myself, retired, moved on into corporate America, taught in university, criminal justice, and of course now here I'm out teaching right. And what I saw after self-reflecting on myself is I went back and I looked at all the police calls I went to, and I started looking at how could I have handled certain calls better? And what I realized in my self-reflection is I realized that there were other things going on in my life. Maybe going through divorce, maybe family problems and things like that. So a lot, if I had any anger, I was taking that anger into work and then of course engaging the public. So the first thing to do with law enforcement is say to yourself, where am I at emotionally? If I am angry, I probably should take a step back, disengage a little bit, get those emotions back in check, and then re-engage. Because a lot that makes on CNN News and all of those things is because typically a police officer's emotions are heightened and they need to de-escalate so they can de-escalate the call. You know, there's an old saying,